presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
It's the final series of the season's first half, a chance to continue the best start in franchise history into the All-Star break. Tonight, the Cincinnati Reds are in town with several National League All-Stars in tow for what should be a good series. It's the Diamondbacks and the Redlegs on Fox Sports Arizona. Good evening from Chase Field and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume and Bob Brenly along the way. And before we get to tonight's game, a quick big picture reality check. The Diamondbacks, even with the loss last night, Bob, still have the second best record in the National League and a firm control on that first wild card spot.
Yeah, my advice to D-backs fans would be get off the ledge. I mean, we've had a handful of tough losses this year. We've had many, many more exhilarating wins, so focus on those.
Well, we'll focus on the Cincinnati Reds tonight. First of three. This is a team that can hit some home runs.
Yeah, they harken back to the old Reds. Back to 1970, the last time the Reds had three guys with 20 or more home runs at the All-Star break. Joey Votto pacing the way with his 24. Scott Scheffler also has 21 home runs this season for the Cincinnati Reds. Kind of a guy that came out of nowhere this year, hitting for power to all parts of that little ballpark in Cincinnati. And Adam Duvall with 20 bombs as well. So the Reds can light you up if you don't make your pitches.
Yeah, they are on pace to hit 228 home runs this year, which would be a new franchise record for a franchise that's been around for a long time. But the Diamondbacks will look to Zach Greinke, unbeaten at home this year, to stop that home run train.
He has been really good here at home. 10 starts, an 8-0 record, ERA just over 2.5. A 195 opponent's batting average, so good luck trying to hit home runs against this guy.
Oh, this one should be fun. The Diamondbacks and the Reds. First pitches coming up on Fox Sports Arizona. Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by Gila River. Experience winning like you've never imagined at the Gila River Casinos, Lone Butte, Wild Horse Pass, and Equiva. By Tire Pros, everything rotates around you. By Jack in the Box and the Jumbo Jack, a home run for your mouth. By the Donor Network of Arizona. Sign up, save lives. Visit DonateLifeAZ.org. And by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By your Valley Honda dealer, where you get more standard features for less money.
By Chaz Roberts, air conditioning and plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Gigablast, internet from Cox. Welcome to the gig life. By Oregano, step up to the plate for a guaranteed home run. At Oregano's, your neighborhood pizza joint. Location statewide. And by State Farm. State Farm is here to help life go right. Talk to an agent today or call 1-800-STATE-FARM.
Game of Thrones night inside Chase Field. He might not be king in the north, but Zack Greinke is definitely tops out west. Unbeaten here at home this year. He'll be on the mound against the Cincinnati Reds, and a first pitch is next on Fox Sports Arizona. Thrones night, the D-backs set for the final series of the season's first half. The All-Star break arrives on Sunday. And tonight, the first of three against the Cincinnati Reds here at Chase Field. The Reds coming off a split of a four-game series at Coors Field this week against the Rockies. Here's their lineup, brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealers.
Speedy Billy Hamilton leading it off out in center field tonight. Zach Cozart having a bang-up year at shortstop this season. Will bat second. Joey Votto down at first base, having a typical Joey Votto year. Adam Duvall out in left field. Eugenio Suarez at third base. Scott Schebler out in right field. Jose Peraza at second base. Tucker Barnhart doing the catching for right-hander Tim Adelman.
Your Ram Truck starter for the Diamondbacks, the right-hander Zack Greinke, headed to the All-Star game for the fourth time in his career. Zack is sixth in the National League in both ERA and strikeouts. He's won his last two starts.
And facing the leadoff batter of the game this season, opposing leadoff hitters are 1 for 17 against Zack Greinke, no walks.
Nationwide Vision Centers gives us a look at the D-backs defense.
Gregor Blanco getting the start in left field tonight. A.J. Pollock out in center. David Peralta over in right field. It'll be Jake Lamb and Chris Owings on the left side of the infield, with Brandon Drury and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Jeff Mathis behind the plate once again for Zack Greinke.
Quinn Walcott is our plate umpire tonight. He'll have the balls and strikes. Paul Emmel is at first base. Brian O'Nora, the second base umpire, and Scott Barry's at third. Reds come in here this weekend 11 under 500, 37-48. They are last in the National League Central. 9.5 games behind Milwaukee for the division lead, but as we mentioned in our open, a dangerous offensive team. as Billy Hamilton leads it off with ball one.
Yeah, solid offensively. They play really good defense, but their starting pitching, along with the Baltimore Orioles, the only two teams in the major leagues with team ERAs over 5.
Jake Lamb a couple of steps in on the grass at third to defend against the speedy Billy Hamilton. He's been bothered by a little bit of a bad back as of late. CO is going to have to really hurry anyway, and Hamilton has an infield single.
Not a chance. Even if he comes up with this, he's not going to get Billy Hamilton at first base. A little swinging bunt toward the shortstop position. Leadoff infield hit for Billy Hamilton.
And now here you go with Hamilton at 34 stolen bases, only one behind Washington's Trey Turner for the major league lead. All-star shortstop Zach Cozart, 6th in the league in hitting at .318 with 9 homers. Hamilton 34 steals. He's been caught 5 times.
He's been suffering from a little bit of lower back stiffness. Missed a game the other day because of it. Hopefully that'll slow him down a little bit in this series.
Only players in history with more stolen bases to begin their careers have been Vince Coleman, Ricky Henderson, and Tim Raines. 3 pretty good ones. Cozart's having a really good year. He's been up in the stratosphere for much of this season, well deserving of an all-star spot. Mathis throws to first, and Hamilton is back. Freddie Benavidez coaching down there for the Reds.
You can check as often as you want on Billy Hamilton. You can throw over to first base multiple times. You can back pick, but if he decides to run, he's going to make it 83% of the time.
Two 2-0 on the Red shortstop. Hamilton holds it first, and a fastball's in there for strike one. Zach Cozart, first week of June, had a batting average that was up in the 350s. But he spent part of last month on the disabled list, a right quadricep strain. He's been back only about a week, so that slowed him down a little bit. Slider, and 2-2.
Apparently it was a little more than just a slight strain of the right quadriceps. They had to drain some fluid out of there a couple of different times. He's a little bit slowed. They've told him to kind of pick his spots, much like the Diamondbacks have with AJ. You know, don't run 110% all the time. Try to protect that injury. They need to keep Cozart in that lineup.
2-2. Cozart's had some lower body issues in his career. Had a horrendous knee injury a couple of seasons ago. Hamilton itching to go down there, but he holds. Slider away. Hamilton, I mean, he's in your head all the time when he's on first base over there, but BB, when he takes his lead, he kind of starts tap dancing and juking back and forth. It looks like he's going to go at any moment.
Yeah, he never really comes to a complete stop, which is what you try to do against good base stealers. Make them come to a dead stop, and if they're going to steal, they have to start from zero. Billy just tries to just get a little weight transfer out there, back and forth, back and forth.
There he goes. Stolen base number 35. They're saying out.
Yeah. Zach Cozart fell across the plate as he completed his swing, and Jeff Mathis made contact and completed the throw to second base. So
here comes Brian Price. Quinn Walcott, the plate umpire, quickly jumped out there and signaled out.
Yeah, really had nothing to do with Billy Hamilton. You see right there, he's kind of walking out in front of Jeff Mathis. Mathis made enough contact, and as I said, completed the throw, which you have to do in order to get that out call at second base. Oh man, I don't know if he did. Yeah, he pointed at him right away. I don't know how much contact there actually was, however.
So base is empty. 2 outs for Joey Votto. An all-star this season for the 5th time in his career. 7th in the league in hitting at .316. He's tied with the Dodgers' Cody Bellinger for the league lead, 24 homers, and he's leading the league in OPS. Other than that, he hasn't done a whole lot. Diamondbacks have a shift on against Votto. Look at how much he crouches down and chokes up. I mean, he's really, that's more exaggerated, I think, than we've ever seen from Joey Votto.
I've seen some Reds games this year where Joey Votto looked like he was choked up almost to the trademark. I mean, he's always marched to his own beat out there on the field, no question about it, and just kind of makes adjustments as he feels them between pitches. Look at him shifting his hands up and down the bat.
Looks like Ty Cobb up there. Greinke ahead 0-2.
Yeah, he's choked up at least 2 inches on that bat.
Well, you know, I always see a guy like that. First guy I think of is Felix Millan. Remember that? He used to choke up almost halfway up the bat. The infielder for the Mets and some other teams.
And of course, the most well-known power hitter in the history of the game, Barry Bonds, choked up a good 2 inches on his bat. It's all about bat speed. How quickly can you get that barrel through the hitting zone?
Close fastball, but Quinn Walcott doesn't bite it. It's 2-2. Zach Greinke has been a very fast starter all year long. He has given up a total of only 1 run in the first inning all season. Here's the 2-2 to Joey Votto. Slaps it the other way. This is a slowly hit ball, and a nice play there by the all-star Jake Lamb. Diamondbacks coming up. Reds and D-backs, no score. Truck starter for the Reds tonight, the right-hander Tim Adelman. He's a big dude out there at 6'5", 225. 29 years old. Not a lot of big league experience. He's a little bit of a late bloomer.
Yeah, sinker changeup. His best pitch is a curveball. He gets ground balls with it. He gets swings and misses with that big curveball. Not overpowering at all. His best fastball will sit in the low 90s.
D-backs lineup brought to you by your Valley Chevy dealer.
A.J. Pollock back in there in center field tonight. David Peralta will be out in right field with Paul Goldschmidt at first. Jake Lamb at third. Chris Owings at shortstop tonight. Brandon Drury at second base. Gregor Blanco out in left field. Jeff Mathis doing the catching for right-hander Zach Greinke.
And A.J. will lead it off. 296 and 2 home runs. That's the Adelman fastball. As you can see, not really a hard thrower. He's right around 90 miles an hour or so. Let's take a look at the Reds defensively. It's brought to you by Nationwide Vision Centers.
Yeah, left to right, it'll be Adam Duvall, Billy Hamilton, and Scott Schebler. Across the infield, Suarez at third, Cozart at short, Peraza at second, Joey Votto over at first base with Tucker Barnhart doing the catching for Tim Adelman.
0-2 on A.J. Pollock. Adelman has, we're told, a pretty good changeup. Curveball's not been as consistent as he'd like. And where he seems like he gets in trouble, he's trying to sneak that two-seam fastball away back toward the strike zone, maybe trying to catch the corner, but sometimes he'll either miss or get it too far back out over the plate, especially against a right-hander. And that's what Barnhart sets up. There's that curveball. 2-2. David Peralta on deck. AJ in his return from the disabled list in his rehab stint in Reno. 2 for 8 in parts of 3 games in Los Angeles. Doubled and walked in that series against the Dodgers.
Well, this is something AJ has done since coming off the disabled list. Worked some long pitch at bats, especially that first one of the game.
Always good to start it off. His Game of Thrones likeness there on the DBTV board. Game of Thrones themed ball game tonight all over the ballpark. As he strikes out. 1 down. Time now, BB, for your Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game.
All I know, partners, every good team I've ever been on, when you go through something like the Diamondbacks went through in LA, the common sentiment among the teammates is somebody's got to pay. I wouldn't want to be the Reds right now.
David Peralta. Well, you weren't gonna, it can't be a whole season of happy walk-offs and Gatorade bucket celebrations. Yeah. There's going to be some heartbreak involved. That's just the nature of the beast, and it just doesn't do anybody any good to get all worked up and start, as you said, jumping off the ledge.
You know, people ask me all the time, and I tell them, hey, the other team has good players too, and they're trying to win.
2-0. But you know, big picture, they still are off to the by far the best start in franchise history. They still have the 2nd best record in the league, the 3rd best record in all of baseball, and are in excellent control of that first National League wild card spot. So all is not lost. All is well, as they said during the Faber Founders Day float parade thing in Animal House. Remember that?
All is well.
All is well. There's a 1-out walk. Here comes Goldie.
Yeah, we touched on this Reds pitching staff a little bit, but they truly are struggling. Their starters have an ERA of 6.08, dead last in the major leagues. They've given up the most home runs. They have the highest OPS against them and have thrown the fewest innings.
Yeah, they've been running through a lot of pitchers. Brian Price, Jim Riggleman as bench coach there. The all-star Paul Goldschmidt. Fastball's a strike. That was up a little bit, but strike 1, says Quinn Walcott. Goldie 314, 19 home runs. He's John Snow up on the DBTV board. Floated that big loopy curveball in there and steals strike 2.
Tucker Barnhart giving the signs tonight. Has some orange fingernail polish on right there to make it a little easier for Adelman to see the signs.
Clashes with his Reds colors.
It really does.
Mention all the pitchers that Cincinnati has used. 25 different pitchers this year. Only Seattle and Minnesota have used more. And the Reds have handed the ball to 13 different starting pitchers this season, including 7 rookies. So it's been one after the other. Broke Can bat in front of Tony Perez-Chica at third. There is Gregor the Mountain Carr, our Golden Glover down the left field line, aptly named on this Game of Thrones night. There's the Mountain. Karen Dyer Wolf. She's our Golden Glover in right field tonight. From House Wolf.
It looks like she was anxious to get a ball hit down that direction.
Well, it's a big night. Lost the handle on that curveball. Barnhart was lucky to get in front of that one with Peralta at first.
Yeah, Barnhart, a pretty solid defensive catcher. He's thrown out 55% of the attempted base stealers this year. 16 out of 29. Very adept at blocking balls in the dirt.
Yeah, they are once again without the injury plagued Devin Mesoraco behind the plate. He's back on the DL with more shoulder problems. 1-2 on Goldie. Change up that time. Just able to get a piece of wood on that. Goldie, one hit in each of the 3 games in LA. He's been a little quiet lately. Hitting under 190 in his last dozen games. Just 2 runs batted in during that span. This one deep right center field. Oh, Billy Hamilton somehow hung on and crashed hard into the wall, and Peralta is just barely back at first. And is Hamilton okay out there? He got checked into the boards like a hockey game.
Well, we shouldn't be surprised, but man, what tremendous closing speed by Billy Hamilton. I didn't think he had any chance to get to that ball. Makes the catch right before crashing into the padding out there in front of the Ram Trucks pool area, and then fired back to first base. Nearly got David Peralta doubled off at first.
And as you mentioned, Bob, he just missed some time with the back problem, Billy Hamilton, and it looked like that's right where he hit, lower back stiffness. So that can have helped, and now they're signaling out there they'll appeal to second. Did Peralta touch the bag on his way back to first, and they say safe. So 2 outs. David still at first base. Here's the All-Star Jake Lamb. 285, 20 homers. Now tied with Miami's Marcell Ozuna for the Major League RBI lead.
Boy, and ideally those 2 home runs he hit against left-handed pitching at Dodger Stadium last night will jumpstart his bat once again right before the All-Star break here.
Come on, Jay!
Couple of Lamb slams last night in LA. One off Rich Hill, the other off Luis Avilan. 2 long home runs. He doubled in Wednesday's game at Dodger Stadium. So Jake this year's now homered 4 times against left-hand pitchers. Torey Lovello told us the other day the Diamondbacks have hired a left-hand throwing batting practice pitcher just so Lamb can work on swinging against lefties, and boy, he was dialing up some long distance last night.
A hanging curveball from Rich Hill. Little slider that just didn't get out to the outside corner against Avilan. Both of them tape measure home runs.
Able to lay off that curveball from Adelman, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Already a 20 pitch first. Two and two. Tim Adelman out of Raleigh, North Carolina. He pitched collegiately at Georgetown. 24th round pick by Baltimore back in the 2010 draft. It took him a while to get to the big leagues. 29 years old. This is only his 28th career major league start.
Step off. Yeah, looking at the signs that Tucker Barnhart was giving there. Diamondbacks used to use a similar system behind the plate. When you see the horns, the index finger and the little finger, that's an indication to the pitcher that this is some kind of a non-pitch. It might be a pickoff, might be a step off, might be a hold the ball out there on the mound.
One of the fastball up and away. It stays 2-2. Chris Owings would be next. Bounced a curveball up there. Peralta will stay at first. That is a full count, 3-2. Really making Adelman labor here in this first inning. Already 23 pitches. Two outs, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Votto still holding Peralta on the bag at first. There he goes, and Lamb sends it in the air toward the left field corner. Duvall won't get there. It's a foul ball.
Votto was holding on David Peralta over there at first base. 2 outs, 3-2 count on Jake Lamb, who likes to pull that ball to the right side. I would think Votto would be playing behind the base runner and then backing up into a defensive position. Looks like he's going to do it this time.
Yeah, especially as you mentioned with a left-hand hitter up there. 8th pitch of the at-bat on the way. And the 25th pitch of this first inning for Adelman. Here goes Peralta. Lamb gets it in the air. Right field for Schebler. We are scoreless through 1 at Chase Field. The Reds and the Diamondbacks.
Fans, winter is coming.
Telling me today, many players saying, look, yeah, Torey Lovello, he trusts us to bounce back. These 3 games before the break are very important. And leaders on this team, particularly Gregor Blanco and guys like Jeff Mathis, they are able to keep the guys in check. And Torey did not speak to the team after last night's game. He felt they were frustrated and mad, and he liked that about it. But he also said this about the 3-game series. I felt like we played head-to-head with them in a tough atmosphere. Even though we didn't win, we grew up. We are more prepared now. Guys?
I think, Jody, that's another good lesson in terms of the big picture perspective as Adam Duvall leads off the Reds second against Zach Greinke. I mean, if you look at it, let's take the first 2 games. Dodgers were at home. They had their 1 and 2 starters going against our 4 and 5 starters. Diamondbacks lost a couple of one-run games and then outplayed the Dodgers last night up until the very last moment. So it goes in the books as a sweep, but it shouldn't be looked at that way. Certainly not nearly as one-sided. Duvall is in at second. That's his 26th double. Adam Duvall.
He ranks among the National League top 10 in homers, RBIs, total bases, doubles, and extra base hits. This guy's a pretty good hitter nobody knows about.
Yeah, he was an all-star last year, Duvall, but he's actually having an even better season this year. His OPS is up by almost 100 points. And he doubles off Greinke to lead off the second. Here's Eugenio Suarez, the third baseman. Suarez 260, 12 homers. He had a 3-hit day yesterday in the Reds win over the Rockies at Coors Field. He played a day game in Denver yesterday. They got in here about 7 o'clock at night or so. We didn't get home until about 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
It was a late night last night. Quiet bus ride, quiet flight. And then by the time you get home and get unpacked, it's, oh man, it's 2:30 a.m. That's out of play. Reds are closing the first half of their season with a 7-game roadie. They split 4 games at Colorado. Brian Price's club coming in here 9.5 games behind Milwaukee for the division lead. NL Central not exactly going gangbusters. The last place team in the division is less than 10 games out of first. Quite a different story in the National League West. Yes, he went. Paul Emmel, the crew chief down there, and Suarez strikes out.
Right fielder, number 43. Scott
Very close. Diamondbacks will definitely take it.
This is a guy you've got to watch out for in this series. It's Scott Schebler, the right fielder, former Dodger prospect. His second season in Cincinnati. He's already got 21 home runs just before the All-Star break. He can barrel up a baseball and hit some long homers, play on at second, and Duvall sneaks back in there. Funny thing about Schebler, who's a left-hand hitter in a tiny home ballpark in Cincinnati, he's actually hit 14 of those 21 home runs on the road. He's got the most road homers in the National League, which is unusual, playing in Cincinnati half your games. There's the Greinke curveball, 0-1.
That was a great weapon for him against the Rockies last time out. The big, slow, loopy curveball. He changed speeds on it. He threw some harder, some softer. Hitters just couldn't get any kind of good swing on it. Another one.
Funny to watch Zach. Some nights he really wants to fall in love with that pitch. Other nights he pulls back on it just a little bit.
You're never quite sure what you're going to see from Zach Greinke until he gets out there on the mound and sees what's working on a given night. Some nights I don't even know if he knows what's going to be working until he gets out there.
Well, Jeff Mathis was talking about that on the pregame show today. Says there's a plan for every hitter. Every single guy has a different plan, and there's also a plan B for every single hitter if plan A isn't working for some reason, depending on what pitch Zach may have on one night and what pitch he may not have. It's a lot to think about up there.
Yeah, it's all part of it. When it's what you do for a living and you're one of the best in the game, you pay attention to little details.
Well, he's come up with a good wingman back there in Jeff Mathis, that's for sure. Fastball up, and it's 2-2. Mention all the Reds' power hitters. Schebler is one of them. Votto's got 24 homers. Schebler has 21. Duvall has 20. Last time they had 3 players with at least 20 home runs by the All-Star break, 1970. Tony Perez, Johnny Bench, and Lee May. And back to the curveball, and Schebler's worked it full 3-2. Jose Peraza. Speedy second baseman is on deck. Speaking of speed, he looks windblown. It looks like he's running, standing still.
Well, he just ran back to the hotel. He left his watch on the desk, so he ran back to the hotel and just got back to the ballpark.
It's like the Flash. Schebler sends one out to shallow right center. Look out, Brandon Drury. David Peralta runs it down. There's a freight train coming down the tracks.
Hey fans, lots of fun giveaways this summer. Tomorrow is the Collectible Cup set giveaway courtesy of Sanderson Ford. Add the All-Star Robbie Ray strikeout counter bobblehead to your collection on July 22nd and keep track of Ray's strikeouts courtesy of Sprint. And on August 12th, get the Arizona flag cap courtesy of Gila River Casino. Visit dbacks.com to see the full promotional schedule.
Well, get ready. This at bat won't last long. It's Jose Peraza, 254 and 4 homers. Now, why do I say that? This is a guy who simply does not walk.
WW won't walk.
Only 5 bases on balls this year, and that's in more than 320 plate appearances. He is up there swinging, and naturally takes the first pitch for a strike. His last walk, Jose Peraza, May 21st, so he's gone 39 straight games without walking.
That's hard to do,
isn't it? And naturally looks at another pitch, 1-1. It always works out this way. 157 plate appearances in a row without taking a walk. But Peraza is not a guy who strikes out a ton. He's a pretty good contact guy up there. He's got a 4-game hitting streak. He homered Tuesday at Coors Field against the Rockies. And when he gets on the bases, he can really run. Adam Duvall at second, 2 outs, 2-1 on Jose Peraza. Takes a cut at a slider and missed. It's 2-2. Tucker Barnhart, the catcher, would be next. 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Reaches out and pops it up shallow left center. And A.J. runs it down. Greinke strands the leadoff double, no score at Chase Field. Reds and D-backs. Hey, your favorite Diamondbacks of yesterday are back here tomorrow, Saturday, July 8th. It's the annual alumni game. It's brought to you by Sanderson Ford. Starts at 4:30. Gates open at 3:30. Get here early, fans. Gonzo, Steve Finley, David DeLucci, Rubio Durazo. More of your favorites will all be here. Get early, the collectible cup set giveaway. See the full list of alumni scheduled to appear and get your tickets at dbacks.com/alumni. Gonzo with his game face on already as Chris Owings leads off the second. Here with Commissioner Bob Brenly. Have there been any last-minute concerns on the eve of the alumni game?
No, this is going to run smooth as silk. My staff, as we mentioned, didn't go to LA on that last road trip so they could tidy up some things to deal with the alumni game. I have every confidence is high that the game is going to come off in a great fashion.
Sounds like Ralph Kelso is part of your staff.
And that alumni game will be played with the roof open so that the helicopter can get in here to aerovac guys out of here.
You mean you? By guys,
yeah.
Well, you are the commissioner.
No.
Comes with certain perks.
Roof will be closed, fans. Don't worry about that. We can't let those guys get too overheated.
Well, that could be trouble. 2-2 on CO. Brandon Drury on deck. Little bloat, get down ball. There it is. First hit for the Diamondbacks. Owings a leadoff single. So let's take a look while I have you here, Mr. Commissioner, at the rosters. The purple team. Now, were you involved in the selection? Did you have to sign off on these lineups?
I just sign off. I let somebody else do all the work, and then I say, yeah, that looks pretty good.
Just delegating, that's all.
Controversial a little bit with Micah Owings, a former pitcher. We all know he was a great hitter, but playing first base.
That is a little unusual.
A little unusual.
Brandon Drury now. So that's one team.
And we actually have 2 alumni catchers catching this year. Usually we have to incorporate Mark Reed, the bullpen catcher, in some manner. That's a tough position when you start to get a little older.
As we know, the catchers get old and tired. Wait, what? Drury, 282, 8 home runs.
Yeah, Kelly Stinnett catching for one team, and Robbie Hammock is going to catch for the other one.
It's on Torey Lovello's staff in the dugout right now.
I'm sure the guys are busy looking over scouting reports and spray charts and spin velocities, and
I think they're all at the drugstore buying Bengay, maybe some ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Bandages. Chris Owings, 11 stolen bases. He's only been caught twice this year.
First 49 games this season when A.J. Pollock was healthy atop the batting order. They stole 48 bases. Were only caught 12 times. In the last 37 games, they've only stolen 13 bags and been caught 8 times.
He's not the only guy that can run, but he seems to sort of steer the ship that way.
I think so. He gets the mindset thinking aggressively when you get on base, when you see the things A.J. Pollock does out there on the bases. But as Torey has told us, you know, a lot of teams are counter punching. They're quick pitching to home plate. They're pitching out. They're throwing pickoff moves to first base. And in that respect, the running game has worked, even though they haven't stolen a lot of bases.
I mean, look how many times he's thrown over just to keep Chris Owings close here. Big cut at that fastball from Drury. It's 1-2. Brandon 2 for 11 with 6 strikeouts in the series in LA this week. Tucker Barnhart behind the plate.
You see those fingers wiggle like that. That's the straight changeup.
He's got a pretty good one. Drury knocks it into left center, and that's going to get to the wall. Owings is on the run. He's coming around third, and it's 1-0 Diamondbacks. RBI double for Brandon Drury, his 22nd of the year.
Seems like Brandon has done most of his damage recently on off-speed pitches, either breaking balls that stay in the strike zone, or in this case a straight changeup that stays on the inside corner of the plate. Very shallow line that time by Adam Duvall. Couldn't get to the spot, and once it gets by him, it's going to go all the way to the barrier. And with Chris Owings' speed, that's an easy run.
All right, a chance for a shock and awe inning here. A single and a double start us off in the second. Here's Gregor Blanco. Blanco pops up the bunt, and Adelman makes a tremendous play to lay out and catch that one on the fly. What a play by Tim Adelman. As we mentioned, he's a big dude out there. It's 6'5", and he needed every inch.
He sure did. That was a nice play. Got the glove underneath the ball before it hit the turf over there on the first base side of the field. Once again, if that gets by him, that's an easy base hit for Blanco, but nice play by the big right-hander.
Blanco bunt for a base hit the other night in Los Angeles. Jeff Mathis.
Mathis swing through a high fastball right there, but he has been rolling lately. Our State Farm winning combo, Jeff Mathis usually behind the plate when Zach Greinke pitches. Last 8 games hitting over 300, getting on base at a 357 clip. Driven in 3, couple extra base hits over those 8 games.
Fastball is a strike, and it's 0-2. Yeah, Jeff was 0 for 2 with a walk in Wednesday's game at Dodger Stadium. That snapped a 5-game hit streak for him. Boys, there's been times where he's thrown that curveball almost to the backstop. Adelman's he's thrown it for a strike a couple of times, but he's not had a good feel for it tonight. Greinke on deck. Barnhart has had to bail him out a few times on that curveball. One and 2 to Jeff Mathis. Oh, he got a floater, and he knocked it fair down the left field line. Drury is home, an RBI double for Jeff Mathis, and it's 2-0 Diamondbacks. That was hanging up there with a hit me sign on it.
Yeah, that one had instructions on it. Coach in the minor leagues said a curveball like that tells you what to do. Keep your shoulder in, keep your eye on the ball, don't overswing, don't overstride. Banged it down into that left field corner once again. Another extra base hit, another RBI for Jeff Mathis.
7th double of the year for Jeff. And here's Zach Greinke. I think your State Farm winning combo is good luck there.
Hey, it's all Jeff Mathis. You know, he's taking advantage when guys make mistakes on him. You know, like any hitter in the major leagues, if the opposing pitcher executes his pitches, it's going to be tough to make anything happen offensively. But if you can hit those mistakes and hit them hard, you've got a chance.
There's a good curveball from Adelman for a strike, and it's 0-2. Zach Greinke headed to the All-Star game. fastball. Let's see where it got him exactly.
Looks like he's pointing to his left forearm somewhere. The elbow and the wrist there on the left forearm.
That's the reason why you always hated left-handed pitchers who batted right-handed. That lead pitching arm's out in front.
Just don't like to expose that throwing utensil to a possible errant pitch like happened right there to Zach Greinke.
So 2 runs are in, 2 on, 1 out. A.J. Pollock struck out to lead off the ball game. Mathis is at second and Greinke at first. Double play potential here for Kozar. They'll settle for 1 as the runners move up. So second and third, 2 down for David Peralta, who walked in his first plate appearance against Adelman.
Everybody clap your hands.
Peralta had a base hit. He was hit by a pitch last night in L.A. 3-11 on the year. Boy, sometimes he's thrown that curveball for a strike, and other times he's thrown it to the on-deck circle. Big inning possibility with this at bat. Second and third, 2 down. High fly ball, left field, room for Duvall. Adelman strands 2, but the Diamondbacks get 2. We head to the third. They lead the Reds 2-0. Well, they are encore presentations of 6 exciting wins, July 12th and 13th. So make sure you check FoxSportsArizona.com or your on-screen guide for games and times. Some of the best moments from the first half of the year coming up on the 12th and 13th during the break. Can't leave without D-backs baseball for that long, or without Wetzel's Pretzels, frankly. We're ready for the top of the third. The catcher Tucker Barnhart leads off the inning for the Reds against Zach Greinke. He was hit on the left arm by a pitch from Tim Adelman, but appears to be okay.
kind of an oddity in the ball game here tonight already. Both Billy Hamilton leading off the game and Adam Duvall leading off the second inning reached against Zach Greinke. That's highly unusual. Hitters leading off any inning against Zach Greinke, batting only 161. 83% of the time he gets the first out of the inning.
Well, here's Barnhart, who's had a very effective bat lately, batting in the 8th spot for Brian Price. Diamondbacks have the shift on, and there's a fastball for strike one. Tucker Barnhart, 278, 1 home run, but in his last dozen games, he's hitting over 390. So there's a look at the defense against him. Tries to bunt away from the shift. 2 Gold Gloves, and Greinke's on it.
Man,
never a doubt.
That is as fast as you will ever see a pitcher get off the mound to field a bunt. I mean, Zach knows he's the only soldier on that left side of the field. Jake Lamb is way out at the shortstop position. You just can't do it any better than that. I mean, he was running that direction as soon as that ball left his fingertips and saw Barnhart square around to bunt. He was on a dead sprint to that third baseline.
Pretty good bunt by the catcher there, just ahead of the pitcher, trying to get on so he could bunt him over, but Greinke snuffed that out, and there's ball 1 to Adelman. Two balls and no strikes. Zach coming off a win over the Rockies here at Chase Field at his previous start. That was last Saturday. And he was tremendous. Gave up only 2 runs, 3 hits, went 7 innings. Didn't walk a batter, had 8 strikeouts, and a shutout going until Trevor Story got him with a home run in the 7th. Right to Chris Owings at shortstop.
Hey fans, the day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Zach Greinke got hit right there, right above the left wrist, sort of on the forearm there, and you can see that welt is a little purple.
Yeah, a little discolored, a little swelling already.
That's a tremendous job by our great camera crew here to pick up on that and get you a shot of it. Yeah, that's Kevin. Kevin noticed that, got in on that bruise. That doesn't look great. Billy Hamilton singled the lead off the ball game. Way up in the air, right center. AJ wants it. 8-pitch inning for Zach Greinke. Bruise and all, he set down 6 in a row. He leads it 2-0.
To now have a 2-0 lead, and this is a matchup of two of the top first basemen in the National League. When you talk about hitting, that's our Coors Light cold hard facts. 4.5 seasons over this sample, and you see that both Joey Votto and Paul Goldschmidt 1 and 2 in many of those categories. It was interesting before the game hearing Joey Votto talk about Paul Goldschmidt, and he said a lot of very nice things. And he turned it to the opposite. We talk about Goldie being talented, but all the hard work. He said, look, I know about the hard work. I think this guy could roll out of bed, though, and do many of the things that he's doing. But we know Paul's worked very hard to get to this point. They're both going to their 5th All-Star game coming up, guys.
2 All-Star first basemen going head-to-head this weekend, Jody, so that'll be fun to watch. And both guys who, Bob, it seems like work extremely hard at what they do. Work ethic with both these two guys is through
absolutely.
the roof.
Not only the physical work it takes to become one of the best in the game, but the mental grind that it can be. Taking 600 at bats or 600 plate appearances over the course of the season, playing every day, knowing that your team is relying on you to provide a bulk of the offense and the defense.
And they're in some ways very similar hitters. They both have tremendous home run power. Votto's tied for the league lead with 24 home runs. They both take a ton of walks. They're both right up there in on-base percentage. Goldie launches away. Oh my goodness, that's foul. That was something to see. They both get on base all the time. Walks, doubles, homers. Very disciplined hitters. That's going to become Votto's reputation. In fact, he gets criticized from time to time for walking too much. Fastball got him that time. Second strikeout for Adelman.
Chased a high fastball that time. You mentioned Adelman not overpowering that fastball at 90 up there above the belt. But just sneaks it by Goldie. He's been swinging through a lot of fastball strikes lately.
We saw him do that for a stretch last year too. All-star third baseman Jake Lamb flying out his first time up. Tied with the Marlins Marcell Ozuna for the major league lead in RBIs with 67. And slices foul and out of
play. And for me, one big difference between Joey Votto and Paul Goldschmidt. Votto gets a little sloppy defensively at times. He'll fade away, especially when he was playing next to Brandon Phillips on the right side of the infield for the Reds. It was like they were trying to one-up each other on who can be the coolest on this ground ball. And occasionally Joey Votto would not be in a great position to make that throw to the pitcher covering first base. And we know that's one of Goldie's specialties. He usually takes it himself, but every feed to the pitcher covering the bag is right on the money.
1-1 is rolled to first, and it's off the bag and fair. Stayed just fair enough for Votto. They retire Lamb, 2 outs.
Yeah, it wasn't hit that hard, which is probably a good thing for Joey Votto, but a nice reaction here. The ball hits the base. He makes the barehanded play, stepping on the bag at the same time. You could see the face he was making. He realized that ball was either going to hit the base or be very close to it. He kind of had a grimace on his face, but able to make the play.
Chris Owings singled and scored his first time up. It was a tough series for CO at Dodger Stadium. 1 for 12. He struck out 7 times. His only hit in that series was that infield squib shot that broke up the Kershaw no-hitter Tuesday. And he's down here 0-2.
I mentioned Joey Votto made a little bit of a face down there coming in to make that play on the Jake Lamb roller. Yeah, watch his face. Eek. That's the way I looked on every ground ball hit to me when I played infield.
Come on.
That's the way I felt.
Reaches out and rolls it to Cozart at shortstop. Adelman has set down 5 in a row, but the Diamondbacks have a 2-0 lead. A special VIP guest in our booth when we come back. On Fox, Eric Hosmer and the Royals take on Corey Seager and the Dodgers. And then at 7, it's the big game. FS1 has the Reds and the Diamondbacks. Goldie and Joey Votto. Tomorrow night's game, fans, not on Fox Sports Arizona. It's on FS1. Check your local listings. And you can check out Preston Wilson will be on the call tomorrow night. He joins us here in our Fox Sports Arizona booth. What do you think of the 2017 D-backs?
You know, I think the 2017 D-backs are what people thought the 2016 D-backs were going to be. You had A.J. Pollock go down, and that really changed the whole dynamic of the team last year. And I know everything is so pitching-centric, supposedly, but when you lose your center fielder, your middle-of-the-order top guy who's a power and speed guy, it changes the whole dynamic of your lineup, and I think it was a big blow. And I think this year's team looks so much more athletic, so much more explosive, so much more depth as far as up and down the lineup that it's obvious to see, you know, why they are where they are right now.
Well, some people will also say it starts with the pitching, and this guy, Zach Greinke, Preston, has had a tremendous season as Jake Lamb backs up at third. What are you seeing from Zach Greinke this year? What's made the difference for him?
I think to me he looks like he's so much more dialed in as far as location and command. I think the stuff is similar. I don't see a difference in a whole lot in velocity, but I see him with 2 strikes not being as hittable. I see him making the batters chase him around the strike zone. Last year, there would be times where he got a guy ahead, you know, 1-2, but he'd end up making a mistake. I'm not seeing that this year. I'm seeing him be so much more focused from pitch 1 until that out is completed.
All right, now there is a wrong answer to this question, but you can only choose one. Goldie or Joey Votto?
Man.
Choose carefully.
You know, since I do believe in self-preservation, I'm going to go Paul Goldschmidt.
We're just having fun.
Choice. Are you going to Reds TV next?
Yes, exactly.
Joey Votto over there.
He'll be over there
It's
with
a good
the
thing
cowboy.
those speeds aren't crossed, aren't they?
How are they similar?
You know, they're similar as far as they carry a team in a manner where.
Uh-oh, this is trouble. Hit pretty deep left field. Blanco's at the wall, and he's got just enough room.
They're both quiet leaders. They're both guys who lead by example, as well as by their productivity on the field. And I, you know, it's when you take a player who's a superstar, the one thing I always look at is how do the other players respect him? Because there's one thing to have talent, and there's another thing for your peers, those other guys who wear that same uniform, to look at you and hold you in high regard. And I see both of those guys in that same respect. Both teammates of the respective players hold them both in high regard.
Yeah, they're in their own special class, aren't they?
You know, I heard something about Paul Goldschmidt years ago, and it's like, if he hits a 3-run homer, he's going to come in the dugout and thank the guy for getting on base first. You know, that's the type of guy you want on your team, you know.
Both foundation building blocks, no question about that.
Oh, yeah.
Here's Adam Duvall. Preston Wilson will be on the call of the Reds Diamondbacks game tomorrow night on FS1. This NL West is no joke, huh?
Nah, this is the cream of the crop here, man. When you look at all the teams out there and the players that they're putting out, I look up and down this D-backs lineup. I mean, there's so many, not just good players, but absolute athletes up and down there. Peralta, Drury, Owens. I mean, these guys are complete. Pollock. These guys are athletes. They're not just guys that have to stay on a corner. These guys are really good, fun athletes. They play defense well. They do multiple facets of the game. Not just adequately, but above average, well above average.
That one a little too close to Adam Duvall's tower. 2-2 now, but you know, Preston, the league is so top heavy as it is. It seems like all the best teams are in one division.
Sometimes it shakes out like that, and you know, it does make for a situation where you realize that both wild card teams are probably going to come out of the West this year. That's what it's looking like, you know. But that's just a credit to the front offices and the GMs and the managements of these ball clubs realizing what they're up against, and they got to up their game.
Here you go, Preston. Oh, wow.
I'll catch that tomorrow.
Yeah, I was gonna. You're the center fielder here. What am I doing?
No, I haven't had my coffee yet.
You'll be ready by game time tomorrow, though, right?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I had no chance right there.
Guy left me out to dry there.
Hey.
They told us to save the monitors.
That's right.
You chose that.
You're on your own.
He's expendable. Save the monitor. 2-2. Just missed with a fastball. All right, this was watch this. Look out.
Look at me.
Look. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Yeah.
50 pitches, 31 strikes. It's good to know I'm up here with solid teammates. Base hit for Duvall.
Well, I said you had plenty of room. It's all you.
You know, back was an option too, by the way.
I went to the side. There was plenty of room. Duvall, 2 for 2. That snaps a stretch of 8 straight retired by Greinke, and he'll bring up Eugenio Suarez.
You know, talking about the athletic guys on the Diamondbacks roster, and I know you probably know this from doing your homework, but a lot of guys have played multiple positions too, which has really helped out Torey Lovullo this year when some guys have had nagging little injuries. You can run Chris Owings from short to second, from second to right, from right to center. Daniel Descalso's played all over the field. Chris Herman, one of the 3-headed catchers, has played all over the field. It really helps a manager when you have that flexibility.
We've seen this happen in the past few years. We saw it in Pittsburgh with Josh Harrison. Just few players who are able to make a manager's job easier. You see it in Houston with Marlon Gonzalez. Guys who can come in and play 4 or 5 different positions. Now, they may be everyday players, but they're not considered an everyday player because they don't have a position. But what it does is it allows your manager to give guys days off. And there's something to be said about this 162-game schedule. The way it is stacked up now, guys need a break. You know, you guys need a break, and I know there's not going to be any more Cal Ripkins. The whole Lou Gehrig thing, that's done. You know, that's done. Guys are going to have to, you know, get a day here and there. And when you have a lineup that you can say, okay, well, this guy can play left field for me today, I can move him over to first base tomorrow. That makes your manager's job so much easier because now he can afford to give these guys a break and not have a drop-off defense and leaving, like, you know, having your pitcher feel like, oh my goodness, you're going to put him at first base. Right? You know, you got to take those guys into consideration too.
Well, Greinke got 2 quick outs to start this 4th. A single by Duvall. Now he's behind on Suarez, 2-1. Suarez struck out his first time up. Fastball, strike 2.
Preston, you going to be down in Miami for the All-Star game?
I will be down there. I'm doing a few of the events down there. You know, there's some stuff at the Miami Convention Center, some clinics and some autograph signings and stuff where people get to see all the legends that come down. When I say legends, I'm not speaking about myself. I'm saying the other legends.
Legends beside you.
I'm just that guy that's there helping out. I'll be at the Home Run Derby watching that. Celebrity softball game, be checking that out. You know, the Futures game. There's all these events are going to be down there. It's going to be great. Miami's hoping to put on a show. When you get a chance to really put your city and give Major League Baseball a chance to show that you can entertain the world, they're hoping to put, and Miami's an entertainment city, so they got to put their best foot forward, and hopefully it'll be a show to remember down in Miami in the next few days.
Here's the 3-2 to Suarez. Duvall takes off, and Greinke gets the strikeout. Preston Wilson will call the Diamondbacks-Reds game tomorrow night on FS1. Watch out for the foul balls.
Yeah, I'll try that. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Great to see you, Preston. field. They lead the Reds 2-0 as we head to the bottom half of the fourth. Hey, fans, a D-backs home run tonight means a free Jumbo Jack tomorrow at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Brandon Drury, an RBI double his first time up tonight, leads off the fourth for the D-backs against the right-hander Tim Adelman. Adelman has set down 5 in a row. D-backs 2 in the second. Owings single, Drury doubled him home, and then Mathis had an RBI double. Adelman has walked 1, struck out 2. He's hit a batter, Greinke, right in the left arm, which has not appeared to have been an issue as of yet.
Adelman's another one of those pitchers, and we're seeing more and more of this around the major leagues. Kind of a hybrid delivery here. It's not a full windup. It's not really a stretch. It's just kind of a tweener. And he will occasionally quick pitch out of that delivery. Other times he'll use the high leg kick. More and more guys are going to this as opposed to the big step back first and then go into that high leg kick, pump your arms windup. It's almost like his stretch position.
Well, we talked about that a lot with Rich Hill.
Yeah.
In the Dodgers series. That was last night. That's a fair ball down the left field line. Drury's got a 1 double tonight and make it 2. Number 23 on the year. He's 2 for 2.
Two-seam fastball that stayed right there on the inside corner for Brandon Drury. Bangs it past Suarez down into that left field corner. We've documented Tim Adelman's curveball here, and he hasn't really commanded it well. He's only thrown 6 strikes out of 15 times that he's used that pitch, but he will continue to throw it. He feels that's a big part of his arsenal, and he'll continue to throw it until he finds a good feel for it, or the manager comes out to take him out of the ballgame.
Well, he's stolen a strike with it from time to time, but has been pretty erratic tonight. Blanco popped up a bunt attempt his first time. Suarez comes in from third a bit. And this is Sky to shallow left center. Kozar drifting out there calling for it. Blanco 0 for 2, 1 out in the fourth. Well, last time Drury doubled, that was in the second inning. Mathis doubled him home. And here comes Jeff for the second time tonight, the Diamondbacks catcher. D-backs off to their best start ever, 18 games over 500. And one of only 5 teams in all of baseball with at least 50 wins. Diamondbacks have the 3rd best record in the majors right now. And as we begin play tonight, they're 5.5 games behind the Dodgers for the NL West lead. LA is at home again this weekend. They're hosting the Kansas City Royals, who've been red hot lately. Kenta Maeda on the mound for LA. That game is scoreless in the 3rd. Oh, there's that big curveball. Drury gets third base.
Now watch Barnhart start to come up out of his crouch. He's expecting a fastball here. Whoa. It's like swatting wasps back there when you get crossed up like that. Just try to knock it down as best you can. That time Barnhart wasn't able to do it.
I suppose you got to score that a pass ball, but that's kind of unfair.
Yeah, that's one of those ones you'd like to think that an official scorer would go down to the clubhouse after the game and ask, hey, was that a cross up or did you just miss the pitch? Did something happen that I didn't see from up in the press box? That probably should be a wild pitch, but more than likely will be ruled a pass ball.
Infield in for Cincinnati. This is skied behind shortstop Kozart again. Drury at third and 2 outs.
Hey fans, we invite you to participate in Gila River game nights by signing up at one of the interactive kiosks located here at Chase Field during any D-backs home game.
I'll see if Zach Greinke can deliver a 2-out RBI. Zach was hit by a pitch his first time up. Just it looked like above the batting glove there on his left forearm. And as Kevin, our ace cameraman, showed you earlier, that had kind of a purple welt in the area where he got hit.
You know, and for a position player, if that happens, you can put some pressure wrap on there, put a pad on it for other at bats in the ball game. But if you're the pitcher, you can't have anything like that on your arms.
You can see almost a little welt right there. Just sort of halfway between the elbow and the top of that batting glove. But he hasn't been messing with it at all. Doesn't appear to be bothering him. There's the slow curveball, and Adelman uses it to steal a strike. He's ahead 0-2.
Karate Man Brews on the inside.
Wow. Trading places. Nice line there, Winthorpe. That's solid work out of you.
Well, I heard that several times in training rooms at major league ballparks. You know, somebody get hit by a pitch or something would happen. And, where's the bruise? And that line comes up all the time.
Up the middle and into center. RBI single for Zach Greinke, and it's 3-0 Diamondbacks.
Well, there's a little payback for getting clunked by a pitch back in that second inning. It's a ground ball single up the middle of the field to drive home Brandon Drury. Center cut fastball. Boy, Zach Greinke, he's just, I mean, you heard Preston Wilson talking about all the position players, but I don't know if there's a better athlete on the team than Zach Greinke.
It's hard to argue that point. He's just a baseball player is what he is. Two-time Gold Glover. We saw that terrific play he made pouncing on the bunt attempt by Barnhart earlier in the ball game. We know he can pitch. Here's AJ 0 for 2. Joey Votto. Zach Greinke, a 2-out RBI single, a tack-on run for the Diamondbacks, who lead it 3-0.
His nickname's Casper. He kind of appears, comes in, and then he, he'll go around the room and do his thing.
He just appears in the middle of nowhere, and sometimes you're looking for him. He's not here.
It seems like 1 second he's there, and then all of a sudden he's gone.
He is the ghost. Not a lot of people see that guy. He's always busy doing something.
Zach Greinke, known to some of his teammates as the Ghost. You'll be standing there, and all of a sudden you'll turn around and he's right behind you. Then you turn around again and poof, he's gone.
Leading off for Cincinnati, right fielder.
And he's having a terrific Zach Greinke type night tonight. Just had an RBI single to make it 3-0. Zach on the mound has given up only 3 hits. He's not walked a batter. He's got 3 strikeouts, and Scott Schebler, who flied out his first time up, leads off the Cincinnati 5th. Schebler belts one deep right center. AJ's got it. That's the first time we've really seen AJ have to really go back and run to chase down a ball in the outfield coming off that groin injury. So far so good.
Yeah, it's just the fact that he doesn't have to think about it. Just react to what you see. Let your body get into a position to make a play. And AJ looked as good as ever on that one.
Sure did. Jose Peraza flied out his first time up. Jake Lamb will come in, toes on the grass at third. Now he'll back off a bit with one strike, but Peraza, who runs really well, always have to watch out for a bunt. But he's usually up there swinging. 1-1 now. This is a guy who's still just a kid. He's only 23. He was in the big leagues at 21. And they've had him play almost every position on the field. He hasn't had the chance to settle in and play one spot. Mostly second base now. Brandon Drury is there. Two down for Barnhart.
Peraza's approach this year seems a lot more tentative than I remember last year. He was a very aggressive hacker, and he got the bat through the zone in a hurry. He's just kind of feeling for the ball right now, just trying to bump it into play.
Barnhart tried to bunt away from a shift his first time up. Greinke made a terrific play to throw him out, and the shift is on again against the switch hitting catcher batting from the left hand side. Jake Lamb's the only guy over there midway between second and third. You can see Owings and Drury have shifted over. First base side of second. Now if he wants to try that bunt again, it's there for him. The whole left side of the field is open. Missed with a fastball, and it's 1-1. Barnhart, a switch hitter. He's over 300 batting lefty. Only about $160 as a right hand batter. Chop foul, and it's 1-2. Greinke changeup that time. That hard Zach Greinke changeup, usually 87, 88 or so on the radar gun. In with a fastball, but missed, and it's 2-2. Adelman, the pitcher's on deck. First of three against the Reds. Don't forget FS1 for the game tomorrow night, back on Fox Sports Arizona Sunday afternoon. Tomorrow, Taijuan Walker versus Luis Castillo. Check swing foul. And then on Sunday, the final game before the All-Star break, Patrick Corbin takes on right-hander Homer Bailey. Don't forget, fans, the D-backs alumni game presented by Sanderson Ford is tomorrow before the game against the Reds. Gates open at 3:30. Come down and say hi to Commissioner Brenly and the staff. Greinke gets the strikeout, his fourth of the ball game. A 1-2-3 fifth. Guess who's coming up in the bottom of the fifth? David Peralta and then Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie coming up when we come back. David Peralta set to lead off the home half of the 5th inning. And before the first swing, make your picks. It's the T-Mobile Home Run Derby Bracket Challenge. And with a little luck, you and 3 friends may be going to the World Series thanks to T-Mobile. Make your picks at MLB.com/bracket challenge. Home Run Derby coming up next week from Marlins Park in Miami. Giancarlo Stanton, the winner last year at Petco Park in San Diego. David Peralta has walked and flied out tonight, 0 for 1. Here's that good Adelman changeup. That's probably his best pitch. Got Peralta to swing and miss, 1-1.
How about this for an oddity? The Diamondbacks have scored 3 runs in this game on 5 hits. 4 of the 5 hits came on a 1-2 count. Adelman speaks to his inability to put guys away tonight. That inconsistent curveball. He's gotten some chases on that fastball up at the top of the zone, but just hasn't been able to put guys away on that 1-2 pitch.
Right there. Fastball up. D-backs with 5 hits, 3 of them doubles, 2 by Drury, 1 by Mathis. Goes back to the curveball that time to strike out Peralta.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Goldie so far has flied out, struck out 0 for 2. Trails Jake Lamb for the Major League RBI lead. He's only 1 behind Lammer. Adelman started him out with a changeup that time, and he took a fastball swing. It's 0-1. Follows up with a fastball down and away. No balls and 2 strikes. Left that one up, and Goldie hits it high. Way back and gone. That's number 20, and it's 4-0. You can throw that pitch in that spot to that hitter. Big smile from the Diamondback All-Star.
This home run by Paul Goldschmidt comes on an 0-2 pitch from Tim Adelman. Right up there at the top of the zone. Fence high out over the plate, right where Goldie likes it.
So now the RBI pulls him even with Lamb at 67. Jake 0 for 2. Now they each have 20 home runs and 67 runs batted in. A jumbo jack, courtesy of Paul Goldschmidt. A free jumbo jack tomorrow. A Jack in the Box with the purchase of a large drink. Interesting. You look at the updated numbers now. Let's see. Jake Lamb, 20 homers, 67 RBIs, 18 doubles, 3 triples. Goldie, 20 homers, 67 RBIs, 20 doubles, 2 triples. Both All-Stars. Low curveball, just couldn't quite keep it fair.
Well, if Jake Lamb happens to touch one off here, we would be 2/3 of the way to the fast food trifecta.
That's what we like. Didn't get to eat much in LA.
No.
And how about this guy? He got a Goldie home run ball. Nice job. Now that's a souvenir. 0-2 fastball missed.
You know, we mentioned that Goldie had been in a little bit of a funk up there at the plate. That was his first July homer and his first July RBI.
Yeah, wow. Huh? Last dozen games, he had only 2 RBIs coming into tonight. This is going to try and get foul, and it's indeed out of play. Well, he can't always be the guy all the time. And this year it seems like he's got more help than ever before. 2-2 on Jake Lamb. Pitch at bat by the Diamondback All-Star third baseman. So really making Adelman work here just to complete 5 innings. He's coming up on 90 pitches. Adelman's spot is due to lead off the 6th for Cincinnati. There is some stirring in the Reds bullpen, so this might be it for him. In fact, it almost certainly will be, down 4-0 at this point. 3-2 on Jake. Inside the Reds bullpen. Things are starting to heat up down there. That's Blake Wood, the right-hander. Went to the changeup again. That's his 4th strikeout.
Stubborn as he is with that curveball, I agree with you. I think his changeup is his best out pitch, especially when he locates it like that right at the bottom of the zone and then fades it out of the zone.
He's got some good swings and misses on it against some pretty good hitters. Chris Owings singled and scored in the 2nd. He's 1 for 2. Hello. Boy, he has thrown some scuds with that curveball, though. As good as the changeup has looked, that has been a very erratic pitch for him here tonight, as we're told it has been all year, really. Had a good curveball in college, pitching at Georgetown. Fastball, and it's 1-1. Chris Owings, 7 of his last 9 hits have gone for extra bases. A lot of doubles, a lot of homers from CO. He's batting like a number 5 hitter in the lineup. Sends this one out to Schebler in right. We're through 5 at Chase Field. Diamondbacks lead the Reds 4-0. Paul Goldschmidt headed to his 5th straight All-Star game. A fastball. With a fully customizable experience, you'll get D-Backs home screen icons, app features, As well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, Statcast news, the whole thing. Download MLB.com at bat today. Well, Adelman, the pitcher, is the scheduled hitter. But Jesse Winker just called up today. Will take the at bat as they'll hit for the pitcher. Winker, a top prospect in the Reds system. Called up from AAA today. His third stint in the big leagues this year. He's only 3 for 11 for his career. He's only played in 4 games. Winker has been up with Cincinnati twice before. Played 2 games in April, 2 more in June. He was a first-round pick by the Reds out of high school in Orlando, Florida 5 years ago. 23-year-old. That's the Greinke curveball. He drops it in for a strike. It's 1-2. Winker just over 70 games at AAA Louisville this year. .305, but only 2 home runs. He's not got very much power. He's kind of like Joey Votto without the home runs. He's a guy that gets on base a lot, doesn't strike out much, walks almost as much as he punches out, but there's just not a lot of pop in that bat. And he waves at a Greinke changeup. Zach has now sit down 5 in a row. He's got 5 strikeouts.
Hey, fans, the can't miss event of the summer hit South Beach when baseball's biggest stars take the field for the MLB All-Star Game this upcoming Tuesday, only on Fox.
Billy Hamilton. He is singled and flied out tonight. Billy Hamilton fighting his now annual battle just to get on base. An on base percentage of just under 300 coming into today. And in his first full 3 seasons in the big leagues, he's been over 300 with his OBP only once. Trying to bunt his way on. Oh, don't bunt it to the 2-time Gold Glover. Greinke's defense has just been outstanding here tonight. That's twice that he's snuffed out Reds bunt attempts.
One of the fastest base runners in all of baseball just put down a really good bunt to the right side and got thrown out by about 4 steps. Look at that. Unbelievable.
I mean, Greg Maddux was another guy they gave him the Gold Glove every year for 10 years, and he looks a lot like Greg Maddux, both in terms of his pitching and his defense.
And his defense is so good, obviously because he's a good athlete, but because he anticipates. He knows what pitch he's going to throw, to what location, and what the hitter's likely to do with that ball, and he reacts accordingly. When you see him throw that big, slow overhand curveball, he'll always jump off the mound to the first base side of the field because that's where the hitter's most likely going to hit it.
Comes in with a hard fastball, and he's ahead 0-2. Zach Cozart headed to the All-Star game. He has an agreement with Joey Votto that if he made the All-Star team, Votto would buy him a pet donkey. Yeah, so Votto, they're not kidding around. He owes him a donkey. Just missed with a fastball.
Cozart a farmer or something?
Yeah, he's
okay.
Seriously, he's got a farm and he wanted a donkey, so somehow he talked Votto into agreeing to buy him a donkey if he made the All-Star team, and sure enough, he's an All-Star. Hey now. And then
Brentwood, Texas, yeah. Or
so,
Tennessee, I'm sorry, Tennessee.
And afterward he said, you know, now that I think of it, I should have asked for a Lamborghini.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it's funny, he likes donkeys, so sure, why not? So Votto says he's got a donkey guy.
Everybody's got a donkey
like
guy, don't you?
Todd Walsh even has a donkey guy. So he's going to get him a donkey. He said he's going to let the fans name the donkey. They're going to have a contest and the whole thing. And if Votto ever does indeed come through with the donkey. Of course, Adam Dunn, who was a Red, was the big donkey.
Yeah.
So there's that. Charlie Finley used to have a donkey, right? And he owned the Oakland A's. for some reason. Yeah. In the hole for Owings at shortstop. Long throw, and he got him. 7 straight set down by Zach Greinke, who leads it 4-0.
Time to take a look at this day in Major League Baseball history, brought to you by Geico. We go back to the 03 season. Shea Hillenbrand, third baseman for the Diamondbacks, 3 home runs in 3 consecutive innings, tied a Major League record that had been done 5 times before. He went, 5 for 5, scored 4 runs, drove in 7 runs. The Diamondbacks scored 14 that night. He drove in half of them.
Good managing.
Yeah. Now, another little interesting note on that. Preston Wilson, our VIP guest in the booth here, hit a home run in that game for the Colorado Rockies.
That's coincidence, not irony. Brandon Drury leads off the bottom of the 6th. New pitcher for the Reds, the right-hander Blake Wood. And that's going to get in the seats and out of play. So here's the numbers on Blake Wood. 36 appearances. He's thrown just under 39 innings. He's gone more than 1 inning 9 times, so he can give you at least 1 or 2. By the way, speaking of the alumni game, Mr. Commissioner, we looked at the lineup assembled for the purple team earlier in the ball game. This is the opposition now, Team Red.
Yeah, I mean, both lineups are loaded. I think one guy you really have to keep your eye on is Rubio Durazo in that 3 spot right there for Team Red. Ruby, he still likes to hit the ball a long way. And with Robbie Hammock catching in the ball game, you know some of his teammates or some of his current teammates are going to be out in that dugout giving him a hard time. As you look at Team Purple,
there's Shea Hillenbrand batting in the cleanup spot ahead of
where he should be.
First baseman Micah Owings. I like the top of the lineup for Team Red. You go Willie Bloomquist and O-Dog. That's a pretty solid start. Igniters there at the top of that lineup.
I wouldn't anticipate any stolen bases tomorrow.
Really?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Willie can still run pretty well.
I'm the commissioner. I might just outlaw stolen bases tomorrow.
I see. If we gave you carte blanche to make your own rules, I shudder to think where we'd be.
A 1-pitch strikeout.
That's right.
2-pitch walks. No at bat longer than 2 minutes.
Each pitcher has approximately 6 seconds to deliver the pitch.
That's right.
No mound visits. Brandon's worked at full 3 and 2. He's doubled in both at bats tonight. He scored twice, knocked in a run. Makes a fastball. It's a leadoff walk.
I'm thinking about flashing back to some rules that were in place in Major League Baseball in 1867 to 1887.
Oh, one of those old-timey game things?
Yeah, the batter walks up to the plate and tells the pitcher where he wants the ball. For 20 years, that's the way we played the game.
Well, they were just more polite back then, that's all.
Yeah, the batter would request either from the knee to the belt or the belt to the shoulder, and the pitcher had to try to put it there.
Now they call it batting practice. Blanco 0 for 2. He's popped up twice. 98 from Lakewood. 1-0. Do guys get to use gloves? Remember that was a thing.
Yeah.
Everybody played barehanded.
I think what we'll do is like somewhere between barehanded and today, where they used to play an inning defensively and just leave the glove on the field, and the opposing team would come out and use the same glove. I probably should have thought about this a little bit more. There's a lot of things we can do.
20/20 hindsight. I mean, everybody always hear that sentence. If you were commissioner for a day, what would you do? Well, you're one of the rare guys that gets to be commissioner for a day, and nobody gets this chance. But you know, you have a very limited staff, and frankly, they're not that good. And you know, you got other things to do too. You can't be responsible for everything.
If a commissioner has ever umpired the plate for you.
That would be the ultimate irony, you umpiring.
Ooh. Better swing those bats.
That is the exact opposite of the kid in the candy store.
Yeah, you thought Leslie Nielsen was good in that movie.
Enrico Palazzo. Quinn Walcott back there tonight.
Matter of fact, I'm going to suggest a new game for our Gila River game nights.
Which is?
We'll show you, 3 pitches on the video board, and you determine whether a strike or a ball before we show you what the call is.
Barazza, Cozart, Votto, 4-6-3, 2 down.
Catcher.
So how does that work exactly?
Well, we run the video. You see a pitch. It gets into the catcher's glove, and we freeze the video before the umpire makes the call. And you make the call. Because there have been some strike calls this year that, oh my goodness.
Well, Phil Cuzzy had a couple last night that were pretty big misses. But
I think that's appropriate for game night.
Yes, a chance to mock the umpires. That's really the spirit of the alumni game, isn't it? It really captured the moment there. Brian O'Nora says, no, that's not a good idea. You're like, I know you don't watch Game of Thrones, but you're like the Stannis Baratheon of analysts. You just won't let it go. And pretty soon, Brienne of Tarth is going to come around with her Valyrian steel sword, and that's going to be it.
Well, bring it on.
Squib shot, tricky play. Votto's got it. What is there? A little bare hand catch. By the way, it is Game of Thrones night, and this is big. How about this? The Iron Throne is in the lobby. Wow. Yes. It's been quite a night for Zack Greinke. It starts with defense. Our Cox high-speed highlights.
All of his skills have been on display here tonight. That bunt checked up on him. He still made the play throughout Billy Hamilton by a wide margin. His stuff has been fantastic out there on the mound. He got hit by a pitch, took umbrage, and decided to drive a base hit up the middle to drive home a run. I mean, getting into the 7th inning here, he's got a 3-hit shutout going, and just kind of another day at the office for Zack Greinke.
6 scoreless innings. He's given up 3 hits. He's not walked a batter. 5 strikeouts. He's retired 7 straight Reds, and Joey Votto leads off the 7th. Votto 0 for 2. Shift is on for the Diamondbacks. 3 defenders on the right-hand side. The numbers on Greinke tonight, who right now is sitting on 82 pitches. 51 for strikes.
Come on, Joey.
Joey Votto, an all-star, 5th time in his career. 24 home runs, the most he's ever had before the all-star break. So in one sense, he's having a career year. And you see how much he chokes up. It's hard to believe that a guy that's hit 24 home runs chokes up that much on the bat. Looks like a little speedy infield type guy trying to just slap his way on with singles. Hard changeup, and it's 2-2. Votto is always taking his walks, tied with the Cardinals' Matt Carpenter for the league lead in bases on balls. He's walked a whole lot more than he struck out this year. That's usually the case. Got him. Fastball's in there. He rings up Votto for his 6th strikeout. What did they say about Ted Williams? If you didn't swing, it wasn't a strike.
Yeah. Joey Votto kind of falls into that category too, but right there at the bottom of the strike zone, inside the corner.
Quinn Walcott says strike 3. 8 straight set down by Greinke. Duvall has been the nemesis tonight. A double and a single to cleanup man. He's 2 for 2. There's that slow curveball. Duvall, a 2-out single in the 4th. He was the last Cincinnati base runner against Zack Greinke. Fastball is dotted right there, and it's 0-2. Duvall, top 10 in the National League in home runs, RBIs, and extra base hits. He was an all-star last year, but is likely having an even better season this year. He homered yesterday in their win at Colorado. He's hit home runs in 4 of his last 10 games, and he's 2 for 2 tonight. Out of Shively, Kentucky, just across the Ohio River from Cincinnati, played at Louisville. Way up in the air behind second base. Drury wants it. 2 down.
Hey fans, don't miss a powerful National League matchup at the end of the month when the Washington Nationals roll into town July 21st through the 23rd. On Saturday, July 22nd, the first 20,000 fans will get an all-star Robbie Ray's strikeout counter bobblehead courtesy of Sprint. Get tickets for the D-backs National Series now at dbacks.com.
Hey, Eugenio Suarez, the hitter. Reds' third baseman. He has struck out twice against Greinke so far. He steals strike 1 with that curveball. Greinke, when he pitched here Saturday against Colorado, gave up a single to start the 3rd and then set down 13 straight Rockies batters before Arenado had a 1-out single in the 7th, so he retired 13 in a row there. And if he gets Suarez here, that'll be 10 straight after retiring 8 in a row earlier in the ball game between the 2nd and 4th innings. That's out of play.
I can remember when I was a young catcher catching Doyle Alexander for the San Francisco Giants. And Doyle threw about 15 different pitches. And when I would put down a sign and he did not shake me off, I felt like I won something. Fastball away? Really? All right. I got one right. You know, until you learn your pitching staff and get to know guys and their habits and what pitches they like to go in certain situations against certain types of hitters, it was always a little bit of a guessing game with the veteran Doyle Alexander for me.
He pitched for a lot of teams for a long time, Doyle Alexander. Didn't you have a thing with him about the signs?
Yeah, I had gone down to warm him up. The very first time I ever caught him was the first time I ever met him. And I went down to catch his last 10 minutes or so of his warm-ups, and as we were walking back to the dugout, he just very casually said, with a runner at second, we're going to use 2-5 pumps. I'll add above the waist and subtract below. And he turned around and walked away from me. It was like when you talk about Game of Thrones. I had no idea what he just said. So I literally went behind the plate in that first inning, and I would hang a sign, and I had no idea what pitch was coming. Fortunately, he didn't throw hard enough to throw his fastball by me, and I was able to make adjustments, and eventually I kind of got on to what was happening. Of course, later on it became second nature. That's just something you do, and Doyle assumed I knew that. Well, he was sadly mistaken.
Boy, he got it done for a long time in this game.
Did.
Don't forget, fans, no Fox Sports Arizona TV tomorrow night. It's a special broadcast on FS1, 7 o'clock. Check your local listings. Taijuan Walker and Luis Castillo will be back with you, Bob and I, on Sunday afternoon. Oh, there's a walk. First walk of the ball game issued by Greinke. That ends a stretch of 9 in a row he'd retired. His spot is due to lead off the home half of the 7th inning, and he's about to throw pitch number 100 in a 4-0 ball game.
Well, we might get an opportunity to see Jake Barrett make his 2017 debut here tonight.
Jake just got called up, I believe it was yesterday, when Ruby De La Rosa went on the DL.
And we saw Andrew Chafin in the ball game last night for 2/3 of an inning. Archie Bradley for an inning, a third. And of course, Fernando Rodney and TJ McFarland had their struggles there at the very end of the game. But we didn't see Jake Barrett even warm up in the ball game last night, so he might be the first guy up tonight.
Here's the Sun Devil. Worked on some small mechanical changes in the minors and has been very impressive. Schebler has twice flied out 0 for 2. You want to be careful here. This guy can take you deep. He's got 21 home runs. 14 of them coming on the road away from Cincinnati. Former LA Dodger Scott Schebler. A 100 pitches, 62 for strikes. Shift is on. Here's that changeup, 1-1. Well, that changeup at that velocity must look just like a fastball.
Everything about his delivery tells you fastball, and it's not one of those floating Bugs Bunny changeups. It looks like a heater coming in there. The rotation looks just like his fastball, and he'll throw that changeup in locations where hitters are looking for fastballs.
This one is belted into the gap. Suarez will head for third, and the Reds, with 2 outs in the 7th, have runners on the corners. Jose Peraza coming up. Bullpen will get busy.
There's a fastball out over the plate for Schebler. Takes a rip at that one. Top spin line drive into center field for AJ, and with 2 outs in the inning, Suarez will easily advance first to third.
Mike Butcher to the mound. Now remember, Peraza, he's the guy that's very aggressive, does not walk. He's a WW. Jorge De La Rosa, the left-hander, is going to get ready in the Sanderson Ford bullpen.
Hey, Bring the whole family to the ballpark this summer with the D-backs Value Pack. You get a game ticket, a Subway sandwich, or a hot dog, and a Pepsi for just $25. For tickets, visit dbacks.com/value.
Remember, Greinke's spot is due to lead off the home half of this inning, so it's kind of an empty the tank deal here at 102 pitches. Just get this final out and get out of here. Peraza has flied out, popped up 0 for 2. This is a guy who will swing 159 consecutive plate appearances without a walk. Suarez at third, Schebler at first, and 2 outs. Bites on a first pitch slider. 0-1. Good chance you throw him that same pitch, he's going to swing again.
And again.
And again. Well, you only need 3.
Try to paint that outside corner with a fastball here. Ho hum.
Right to the glove, and it's 0-2. You can go anywhere from here, you know. Change up, slider, that big curveball. Get him to chase something. Everybody stays put. He spiked his slider. It's 1-2.
These can be dangerous situations for a manager. You'd like to get Zack Greinke the 1 more out, get him the 21 outs that Torey Lovullo looks for from all of his starters, and then pinch hit for the pitcher spot in the bottom of the inning. But in the effort to do that, sometimes you push a guy a little farther than he needs to go, and then bad things can happen. I remember Casey Daigle pitching at Coors Field one time, trying to get him his first major league win. Similar situation, and sent him out there for the 5th inning. Got a couple of quick outs, and a couple runners got on base, and Brian Runge behind the plate. His strike zone kept getting smaller and smaller, and oh man, I went out there to talk to Casey, and then when Brian came out from behind home plate, I said, give me a break. I'm trying to get the guy a win here. Can you open up the zone just a little bit?
Got him. The slider was the magic bullet. Greinke strands 2. He gets his 7th strikeout and his 21 outs. Zack Greinke headed to another All-Star game representing the Diamondbacks. The 4th time in his career he's been an All-Star. 7 scoreless innings here at Chase. only 4 hits allowed with 7 strikeouts. Those are all-star numbers, and he's headed to Miami next week. D-backs fans, stop by your local Fry's. Stock up on Aquafina water and your favorite Pepsi products using your VIP card. You can win a chance to participate in the Jake Lamb Fantasy Camp or win Jake Lamb game-worn gear and autographed items. All courtesy of Pepsi. Here's Herman, leads off the inning and bounces one into center. So Herman hits for Greinke, a leadoff single. Here comes A.J. Pollock.
And 9 spot in the lineup has reached base all 3 at bats in the game. Zach Greinke got hit. He had an RBI single, and now Chris Herman in the 9 spot bounces one up the middle of the field for a leadoff hit.
Well, Chris just 1 for 18 as a pinch hitter this year, so that'll help. His second pinch hit of the season. He's aboard for Pollock, who's 0 for 3. Sanderson forward bullpen. TJ McFarland, who closed out the game last night in LA, the left-hander, talking to Mike Fetters there, and Rando Delgado, the right-hander. AJ shows bunt, takes a strike. It's 1-1. Blake Wood out there for his second inning of work. AJ missed 44 games with that right groin strain. He was out from May 14th to July the 4th.
Boy, and it's a real testament to guys like Daniel Descalso and Gregor Blanco and Ray Fuentes, and guys that filled in the outfield in AJ's absence. The team really didn't miss a beat. Now, obviously, you'd love to have AJ in the lineup at the top. We would have been that much better, but the guys really picked up the slack for him when he was gone.
He sure did. It's great credit, I think, to Mike Hazen in the front office. I mean, they identified guys that they liked, and they sort of added them piecemeal over the course of the offseason. And he thought, oh, okay, they got Chris Inetta. That sounds good. Oh, Gregor Blanco. Well, sure. Well, Descalso, yeah, he's all right.
He's a player, yeah.
And collectively, you've got this bench of veteran guys who have also been leaders on a very young team. You know, each move by itself didn't exactly make headlines, but as a collective, it has made an enormous difference this year. I mean, Blanco, that couple of rings with San Francisco. Descalso's played in almost 50 postseason games with the Cardinals. Iannetta's been around the block for 10 years. Well, everybody in the division is winning. The Rockies beat up on the White Sox at Coors Field 12-4. Eagle. Dodgers hosting the Royals. Kenta Maeda has a 2-1 lead. They're in the 5th.
Put her on the board. Oh no.
Giants, it's been an 0-0 season for San Fran. They're trailing at home against the Marlins 6-0. Padres 1-4-3 in Philadelphia. AJ strikes out, 1 down. Good slider there from Blake Wood.
Working its way down away from A.J. Pollock in that Rockies White Sox game. Blackman with 3 hits, LeMahieu with 2, Arenado with 3. Our buddy Gerardo Parra back in the lineup had 3 hits. Raimel Tapia with a couple of knocks. Even the pitcher Germán Marquez got 2 base hits in that game.
You know, Marquez is the one rookie in that Rockies rotation that looks like he hasn't wavered at all as we approach the All-Star break. He's still throwing as good now as he was back in April. The rest of the guys have had some bumps in the road. Of course, they have John Gray back. That helps. Here's Peralta. And Herman moves up. Wild pitch.
Spiked fastball that time. Tucker Barnhart just reached out with a backhand, tried to knock it down and keep it in front. Chris Herman alertly saw the ball get away and advances into scoring position with 1 out.
And Wood behind in the count on Peralta, 1-0. Fox Sports. FS1 tomorrow night. D-backs and Reds. Bob and I back on Fox Sports Arizona Sunday afternoon. Don't forget, fans, the annual alumni game tomorrow at 4:30. Gates open at 3:30 in the afternoon. Game against the Reds is after that, 7:10 first pitch. Get your collectible cup set courtesy of Sanderson Ford. First 20,000 fans with us tomorrow get that. Freight train is on the tracks and he's in at second. Blow that whistle. You know what that means, BB? Welcome back to Chase. It's taco time.
Time to eat.
There we go.
Inside fastball, actually off the plate inside at 95, which tells you how quick David Peralta can be. Ripped that ball by Joey Votto down into the corner for an RBI double.
17th double for Peralta. Here's Goldie, who homered his last time up. David takes off for third. The throw is up the line. Peralta's home and it's 6-0. Tucker Barnhart almost threw that one into the stands. Diamondbacks getting aggressive here.
Didn't pay any attention to him. The Reds infielders were split wide apart, allowing David to get a huge secondary lead. And he just kept on going. Tucker Barnhart really tried to rush his throw right there. He knew he didn't have much of a shot and just didn't seem to have a good grip on the baseball.
Brian Price checking in with Quinn Walcott behind the plate. The run is in now. 2 runs are in fact. 6-0. 1-0 on Goldie. Base is empty. Still just 1 out. Goldie last time up got a fastball up and on the outer half from Tim Adelman, and he knocked it to dead right center. Big cut that time. Slider. This is what it looked like in the 5th. Oh, Chaz Roberts, air conditioning and plumbing, cool play of the game. His 20th home run on the year, his 67th RBI, tying him with Jake Lamb for the major league lead. Waves at a changeup in the dirt. Strikes out for the 2nd time tonight.
How about this, partner? That throwing error on Tucker Barnhart, his first error of the season.
And he's a really good catch and throw guy back there. Usually that was very uncharacteristic for him. You know, Brian Price checked in with Quinn Walcott. I'm wondering if maybe that Price thought that Walcott bumped Barnhart, and that was the reason for the wild throw. And they seem to be talking about that right there.
Well, the umpires consider to be part of the field. I mean, if it's accidental, incidental contact, there's really not much you can do about it. Oh, another spike, 96-mile-an-hour fastball. That's not fair.
Jake 0 for 3 tonight. 2 long home runs in Los Angeles last night. Lamb hitting .315 in his last 21 games. Missed with a fastball, and it's 3-0. Chris Owings on deck. Taking all the way, it's 3-1.
I think we've solved the mystery, partner.
Wow, what did Quinn Walcott interfere with Barnhart?
No, he did not.
You can say that definitively now. Let's take a look.
Take a look. Watch Paul Goldschmidt's bat, the very tip of his bat, as Tucker Barnhart winds up to throw that ball down to third base. Goldie's entitled to the batter's box. He just holds his stance, and the throw actually tips off the end of Goldie's bat right there. There had to be a reason for him to make that bad of a throw for a guy who is a catch and throw specialist.
Yeah, it was a wild throw. Lamb squirts one the other way, but Duvall is there to make a nice diving catch. But the Diamondbacks add 2 more. We head to the 8th inning. They lead the Reds 6-0.
It's time to take out your Arizona Diamondbacks.
Young superstar.
Great third baseman.
He may be the only person besides my girlfriend that truly, truly gets me deep down inside.
Jake Lamb is a good-looking dude, you know? I can see why all the girls are always screaming at him. So, you know, not to sound weird, but he's a good-looking guy over at third.
You have to watch it.
He sure is, and he's an all-star. I can tell you that. Almost had a base hit there and a nice catch taken away by Adam Duvall. But Jake Lamb all smiles heading to Miami next week.
It's always a thrill, your first, and in some of our cases, your only all-star game. What a thrill that is to walk into that clubhouse. In my particular case, as you get a look at the numbers for T.J. McFarland this season, the all-star game in '84 was held at Candlestick Park. So I went home one night surrounded by the guys that were on that team.
Up the middle for Chris Owings. The retired Tucker Barnhart. You saw the numbers on T.J. McFarland. Our Ash line called to the bullpen. More on the all-star third baseman, Jake Lamb. Here's Jody.
Well, yeah, and guys, talking to Jake Lamb and Robbie Ray, first-time all-stars, they're finding there's kind of a lot to get in order. You know, Robbie wanted to get a jersey for everyone to sign. Jake is going to have 17 people there. That's family, friends, a group of 8 of his very close friends. He said, look, I don't care. Yeah, absolutely. Someone asked him, you know, are you paying for that? He said, absolutely. I mean, these people have helped me get to this point, whether it's family, friends, close-knit group, and he is going to enjoy every minute of it with them.
Good for him. Patrick Kivlehan, the Reds' leading pinch hitter, will hit for the pitcher. Kivlehan, 217, 5 homers. He's hitless in his last 16 at-bats.
I just quickly put a bow on that story about the all-star game in '84. I went home one night surrounded by my teammates, you know, nice guys, not great players, nice guys. Came back the next day and there was Dale Murphy and Ozzie Smith and Goose Gossage, Bruce Sutter. Holy cow, did we get good overnight?
Well, you fit right in. Kivlahan. Peralta chases it down. 2 outs. That had to be cool.
Oh, it was such a hoot. I mean, Darrell Evans and Reggie Smith and some of the other veterans on the team that year had alerted me you'll never have a bigger ovation than an all-star game in front of your home fans. And they were right. It was just crazy.
Billy Hamilton 1 for 3 tonight. Goldie comes in on the grass at first. Jake Lamb just a step or so in front of the bag at third. Did you get a bigger ovation when you did the whole introduction thing, or you step forward and tip the bill of your cap? And
yeah, the intros were nice. Really the biggest ovation, or the one that really got to me, is Hamilton flips one down the right field line. Freight train there to make the play. I'll finish that next half inning.
Diamondbacks all over the Reds. It's 6-zip.
Live, the post-game show, and Brandon, no doubt Zach Greinke will be a subject of our conversation. I think one of the most complete games that I've seen a pitcher pitch, and I'm not talking about 9 innings.
Yeah, it was almost like a Little League game. Star pitcher, does a great job. Offensively, he got the job done as well. Defensively, made some great plays too.
All right, we'll break that down and more. But guys, first there's work to be done, so we'll send it back to you. Bring it home.
Okay, guys, thanks. The Gila River game summary. Boy, they were right. Todd was right on the money. Zach Greinke outstanding. 7 scoreless innings, 4 hits. He had only 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, had an RBI single, made a couple of sparkling defensive plays with his Gold Glove. And now Chris Owings leads off the bottom of the 8th against the new Reds pitcher. It's the right-hander Drew Storen, who's been a closer in a couple of other spots. His 37th appearance for the Reds this year, a 2.88 ERA. Owings singled and scored in the 2nd tonight. He's 1 for 3. So you were saying about the All-Star game, the ovation. I've always liked when they're on the lines during the introductions. Each guy takes a step forward and just sort of touches the bill of his cap and steps back. But that wasn't it for you?
No, it was actually on Monday, the day before the All-Star game. We had a workout at Candlestick Park and had our meeting up in the clubhouse to go over signs. And went out for batting practice, and yeah, some of the guys were already out there, and Chili Davis and I just coincidentally happened to walk up the tunnel down the right field line and came out the double door down in the right field corner, and there were probably 25 or 30,000 people there for batting practice. And as we walked down the right field line, it was almost like a wave. People in right field started to get up out of their seats and clap their hands for Chili and I. and it worked its way all the way around the stadium. And by the time we got up to the dugout on the first base side, almost everybody in the ballpark was giving us a standing ovation.
Wow.
It was quite a touching moment. I have a picture at home that some photographer took from the right field line as Chili and I were walking toward home plate, just our numbers and our names on the back of our jerseys. One of my prized possessions.
It's those little moments that stick with you, huh? Third base, Suarez. Well, your Valley Honda dealer key to the game was somebody's got to pay, and tonight it was the Reds.
Diamondbacks only scored 7 runs in the 3 games in LA. They've already put 6 on the board here tonight.
Brandon Drury's been a big part of that. He has doubled twice, walked, scored twice, and knocked in a run.
Well, you think these two guys are having flashbacks, Drew Storen and Tucker Barnhart? They played for the same high school team. As a freshman and sophomore, Barnhart caught Drew Storen his junior and senior season.
That's unbelievable.
Brownsburg High School.
Brownsburg, Indiana. Barnhart was a 10th round pick by the Reds in the '09 draft. Storen was a first round pick. He went on and played college ball at Stanford.
Well, this is what's fun about a Zach Greinke outing too. You can sit here for a couple of innings after he's out of the ball game and total up some numbers and go, wait a minute, is that right? I mentioned that he almost always retires the leadoff hitter of the game, and 83% of the time he gets the leadoff hitter in any inning. But he gave up a leadoff base hit to Billy Hamilton. He gave up a leadoff hit in the second inning to Adam Duvall. The next 5 innings he retired the first 2 batters in each inning.
FS1 tomorrow night for game 2 of this 3-game set. Bob and I back on Fox Sports Arizona Sunday. Drury's been on base 4 times tonight, 2 doubles and 2 walks. Here's Blanco, 0 for 3, the left fielder tonight. Rockies won. They beat the White Sox 12-4. Dodgers right now leading the Kansas City Royals in LA 2-1. They're in the 6th. On the ground to second. Peraza for 1. Cozart. They can't roll it. Blanco's aboard. Jeff Mathis. Jeff had an RBI double in the second inning. Brian Price. Red skipper. His team in danger of dropping 12 below 500 this year. They're 9.5 games behind Milwaukee for the division lead.
Well, the Reds have actually played fairly well at home this year. They're 3 games over 500 at Great American Ballpark. However, on the road, it's been a struggle for Brian Price and the Reds. 14-28 going into play tonight on the road.
Brewers beat up on the Yankees in the Bronx tonight, 9-4. So the Reds will drop 10.5 back in the division. Sanderson Ford bullpen, and there he is, Jake Barrett, getting ready for his 2017 debut. Jake had a tremendous spring. Came up with a bit of a sore shoulder. They shut him down for a while, and they've ramped him back up in the minor leagues. To Peraza, who bobbles it at second, recovers and throws him out. Well, ahead to the 9th inning, Diamondbacks have a 6-0 lead. Jake Barrett coming in. Back out there to start the top of the 9th inning. TJ worked a very quick 1, 2, 3, 8, so maybe we won't see Jake Barrett after all. We'll find out. What's next is brought to you by CenturyLink. Game 2 of this 3-game set tomorrow. Taijuan Walker on the mound against Luis Castillo. A reminder, fans, that's not on Fox Sports Arizona. That's on FS1 tomorrow night. Check your local listings. Bob and I back with you for Sunday's series finale. Here's Taijuan. It's Taijuan Walker bobblehead night here tonight on Game of Thrones night. Zach Cozart, Red shortstop, leads off tonight against TJ McFarland. I would think that Zach Cozart would be your absolute favorite Reds hitter.
Why is that?
Well, he's got a hitting philosophy that he likes to call putting a pizza in the oven.
Oh.
And it started as kind of a joke. His teammates found a YouTube hitting tips video which suggested imagining while you're swinging that you're just putting a pizza into an oven. You got to keep it straight and level. So, you know, the sauce doesn't spill around and stuff like that. All the fixings stay in place. And so it started out as kind of a gag, but it actually was worked for Cozart. He's going to the All-Star game. So when he gets a base hit occasionally, he'll sort of make a pizza oven gesture into the Reds dugout to his teammates.
Well, I hope the people at Papa John's are paying attention. They could have a spokesman right here.
Oh, we just had the mountain go down. That's Gregor Carr, our Golden Glover down the left field line, man down.
That way, getting dirty.
Takes a lot to knock down the mountain. Does that make sense to you, that idea of keeping your, have a level swing plane?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has some kind of a trigger or some kind of a verbal trigger that they use to get their body into a good hitting position. And I guess putting a pizza in the oven is as good as any. You know, for years with little leaguers, they used to talk about the back foot and squash the bug. You kind of pivot on that back foot as you drive your hips into the ball, and you used to tell little leaguers to squash the bug.
Well, there's a pizza in the oven. He knocks a single into left.
Large pepperoni to go, please.
No pizza gestures, down 6-0 in the 9th. Here's Joey Votto.
First baseman Joey Votto.
Well, this is why maybe McFarland is still in there to face Votto, the left-hander, who's 0 for 3 tonight. Headed to his 5th All-Star game next week. .24 home runs for Votto, the most he's ever had before the All-Star break. He's got hits in 7 of his last 8 games, including 3 homers. Joey Votto, one of the biggest contracts in sports. He got 10 years, $225 million. The Reds are paying him $22 million this year, and then will owe him $25 million a season, every season, for 6 years after this one. That's a lot of money for a long time for a guy who's already 33 years old. He'll be 34 in September. He's certainly shown no signs of letting up. Having another great year. TJ had a ball and 2 strikes. Trying to tie him up inside, but missed, and it's 2-2. Adam Duvall, who has doubled and singled tonight, is on deck. Jake Barrett still warming up in the Diamondback bullpen.
Look at Votto creeping up. Joey Votto kind of started in his regular position in that left-handed batter's box, and as McFarland went up into the set position, he took a big step forward Sometimes hitters will do that if they're anticipating a breaking ball. They want to get out there and catch it before it ends up off the plate, low and away, or down in the dirt. Holding this position this time.
Lays off a slider. Votto rarely chases those, and it's full 3-2. So TJ has gone to a full count on both the first two batters in this ninth inning. Barrett is ready in the bullpen with Duvall on deck. High in the air, very deep left center. Pollock will watch it go. Joey Votto, that's 25 homers, the most in the National League, and it's 6-2.
Tough to keep a good hitter down all night long. Center cut fastball at 92, and that's the new Joey Votto. He's got power everywhere now. It used to be Joey Votto would have to turn and burn on an inside pitch and pull it down the right field line to hit homers, but with this approach at the plate this year, hitting out of that exaggerator crouch, choking up on the bat, he went off him.
Jake Barrett on his way in, back after this.
And for Jake, he said today his head was spinning yesterday. He didn't get to warm up yesterday at Dodger Stadium at all because he arrived in the 9th inning. He said it was a real rush to get from Reno to LA to join the team. In fact, he was all set to just get out and throw the ball, get ready for the 7:05 game in Reno. But guys, he's so happy to be here. That shoulder inflammation that popped up 1 week before spring training, he said it just did not go away. It was very tough to focus during the rehab and during the stint in Reno, but he did that to get back here.
Yeah, Jody had a terrific season last year with the Diamondbacks. Just saw the numbers. Here's Adam Duvall. Duvall was 2 hits tonight. Jake coming in there at 98. He had a 10-game scoreless streak going at Reno, and he was called up. The opponent sitting only 114 against him. 2-0 with 3 saves for the Aces this year, trying to bounce back off that shoulder trouble this spring. That's out of play. It's 0-2, 99 miles an hour from Jake Barrett, the big right-hander. Sanderson Ford bullpen, Fernando Rodney and Jorge De La Rosa just getting loose down there. 1-2 on Adam Duvall. Welcome back, Jake Barrett. There's your strikeout.
Slider starts down there near the knees, bottoms out in the dirt. Duvall can't hold up.
Eugenio Suarez walked his last time up. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts against Zach Greinke. Brandon Webb, Todd Walsh are standing by. Diamondbacks live post-game show follows our ball game. Jody will have reaction from inside the clubhouse. By the way, we want to send a big birthday shout out to the Moral Compass. There he is, Mike Farron.
Nice.
Host of the ever popular Snake Talk radio program. Happy birthday, Mike. Erica brought him some cookies to the ballpark today. We did not get any.
None.
2 outs.
I will say that we're very good about sharing when we occasionally get some tasty morsels up here in the booth, but those guys over there, they're hoarders.
Oh yeah, well, Leo Gilmartin's over there. I mean, that's all you need to know. Scott Schebler singled his last time up, last man standing for the Reds. 6-2, 2 outs in the ninth. Shift will go on against Schebler. It's the Schebler shift. Diamondbacks are 32-13 at home this year. So if they can lock this one down, it'll be win number 33 at Chase Field this season. Guess how many games they won at home last year? 33. Wow. Rockies have already won. They beat up on the White Sox. Dodgers have a 3-1 lead over the Royals in the 7th in LA. Baxter wearing his Game of Thrones crown. That's that splitter that Jake used on and off last season. For a while he had a filthy split finger fastball. That one got away from him a bit. 2 balls and 1 strike. With Peraza on deck. Oh boy, way up in the air, headed toward the pool, and it's gone. Scott Schebler is 22nd, and suddenly it's a 6-3 ball game. We told you at the top of the show, Reds come in here with 3 guys already over 20 home runs by the All-Star break, and 2 of them have homered in this inning. Votto and now Schebler.
97 inner third of the plate. If you're going to give them up, give up big ones. Skyscraper of a home run out there in the RamTrucks.com pool area.
Jose Peraza. That's out of play. Schebler's having a really good season. 22 home runs, 15 have come on the road away from Good American Ballpark in Cincinnati. And Rodney continues throwing in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. 0-2. Brandon Webb, Todd Walsh standing by. Diamondbacks live post-game show is coming up.
Held on to that one just a little bit too long.
You think? Well, you know, it's going to be good just to get this one out of the way, I'm sure, for Jake. He's been waiting to get up here for 3 months now, after he was maybe their best relief pitcher all last year. So this will be a nice one to check off the list. Get that first appearance out of the way. It's a fair ball. Nice play by Jake Lamb. And Peraza runs too well. Boy, Jake really made a nice play to go get that one. He was almost behind Billy Hatcher, the coach at third.
Really tough to get anything on that throw when you're running into foul territory and have to throw sidearm back across your body. Goldie did everything he could to try to make an adjustment, get into foul territory, but too much speed from Peraza.
Well, 15 pitches. I'm sure that coming off shoulder trouble, they don't want to push Jake too much. So he will bring in Fernando Rodney to close this one out. 6-3 ball game. We're still going back after this. Only 6 of them for strikes, as a 4-1 Diamondback lead turned into a 5-4 Dodger win and sweep. And here he is about 24 hours later, chance BB to put that behind him.
Every good closer I've been around in this game, this is exactly what they want. After a bad outing, they want the opportunity to get that ball again the next day, go back out there and do their thing. Well, Fernando Rodney's going to get his opportunity here with 2 outs in the 9th inning.
Tucker Barnhart, the catcher, will be the hitter. Pitcher spot behind him, Scooter Gennett, who's having a really good season for the Reds, is in the on-deck circle. So here we go with Rodney. 6-3 ball game, 2 outs, 1 on in the 9th. Barnhart tonight 0 for 3. Switch hitter batting from the left-hand side. He's better than a 300 hitter batting lefty this year. Shift is on, and there's that changeup inside. It's a ball, 1-0. Barnhart, his last dozen games, is hitting over 390. Fastball's a strike, 1-1. I will say this for those of you watching on television. The reception here from Diamondback fans in the ballpark was extremely warm. They were on their feet and cheering the closer, if that counts for much. And it probably should. Most of the fans realize this stuff like that's going to happen. Now, it got ugly in a big win that would have been nice at Dodger Stadium and all of that, but it's part of the deal. 3-1 now. Jeanette can be a dangerous hitter. He's got 14 home runs this year. He's already matched a career high. And if Barnhart gets aboard, Jeanette would be the tying run at the plate. Full count, 3-2. Into the shift, and this one is a Diamondback win. There goes the arrow up into the Chase Field ceiling, and Diamondbacks take the opener of this 3-game series with a Reds 6-3 as Rodney nails it down.
What a good win. Diamondbacks glad to be home for a number of reasons. They lead the majors in home runs, hits, and doubles. Their 33rd home win this season, which, as you mentioned a little while ago, ties last season's entire year's total.
And they're able to keep pace both with the Rockies and the Dodgers. Colorado beat the White Sox. Dodgers right now lead the Royals 3-1 in the 7th inning. We'll take a break from Chase Field. Back with much more. Diamondbacks beat the Reds 6-3.